Chiefs at Arrowhead. The Buccaneers travel to New Orleans on Sunday. Their second time there this year, the third between those two NFC South teams. Lots of fun here, lots of highlights on Good Morning Football. My name's Kay Adams. We are presented by Truist. Peter Schrager, Mr. Taki Taki, a.k.a. Kyle Brent here, and Michael Robinson. Hi.
What's going on, people? I can call him Taki Taki. That's funny. I actually am like, who is it? Who else?
Lest anybody doesn't know, this is a Sione Taki Taki jersey that the Browns sent us. The Browns who won last night after being up 28-0. Why don't we do the highlights? I think that's a great question. It's a fair question. If you're just tuning in now, under a rock last night, let's look at this highlight. Let's look at Browns Steelers. Kevin Stefanski, the Browns head coach, watching the game in a 60-inch HGTV in his basement because tested positive COVID-19. That means Mike Prefer is the interim coach against Ben Roethlisberger, who's played the Browns 26 times in his career and won 23 of them. Mike, what happens on this play?
Ben Roethlisberger didn't get the snap, got scared, tried to act like he wanted to get it, and didn't get it. Browns scored.
Couldn't have said it any better. Give Mike all the Emmys. That was perfect. Pouncey's angry. Prefer, have a day. 7-0. All right, so Roethlisberger dusted off. It's the Browns. He always beats them, right? It's a pick. It's a pick by MJ Stewart. Normally terrible MJ memories for Cleveland. Shout out Craig Elo. This is a good one. And we got a turnover chain. Mike, do you like the turnover chain with the ball?
I like the turnover.
Are you into it? Yeah.
I'm into that. Okay. All right, so Baker, we haven't even shown him yet. It's only 7-0. No, nothing's getting away from Pittsburgh. Well, it is now. Jarvis, Jukes, going. Do you have the speed to get there? Yes, and he breaks a tackle. Juice Landry. Bless him. Remember the preseason speech in Hard Knocks where you were swearing at the whole room saying we're going to change this thing? They changed it. 14-0. Now this guy, nobody wants to tackle him. No, I mean, nobody. I don't think Ronnie Lott wants to tackle him.
Can I just, we heard a lot about T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, and this defense, how you just can't run all over them. I don't know.
Did we hear a lot about Sheldrick Redwine? Sheldrick Redwine has an interception. Yes, Peter.
Our producer Quab has some connection to Sheldrick Redwine.
Which is what?
What is it?
His girlfriend is related to Sheldrick Redwine.
An actual red wine?
Yes, the Sheldrick, the one.
Everybody's girlfriend's related to red wine. I don't know about Sheldrick, though. We have a Cabernet up in here, and his name is Kareem Hunt, who's just dancing and popping. And, man, he looks fresh. And Chubb did his thing lately. Look at that. I said earlier, I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to retire. I'm not making a joke. I think this is his last game. Maybe I'll be wrong. We'll see. I know it's not the Browns' last game of the season. 48-37 after building a 28-0 lead in the first quarter. All this talk about what the Browns used to be, what they're overcoming. Baker Mayfield said after, look, I got nothing to do with that.
We're here for a reason. There's a new standard, and I keep talking about it. No, I wasn't here for the things that have happened in the past, some of which I was too young to even remember. And there's a new standard, and we're going to, try and keep it that way.
You're going up against defending Super Bowl champions. How do you feel about the world being against you again?
Sounds pretty normal to me.
A huge win for Cleveland. Really tough circumstances all around, and things do not get easier, gentlemen. They have to go to Arrowhead to take on the defending Super Bowl champs. Now, I feel like what happened last night, Mike, defied X's and O's. It was just like meant to happen. Everything bounced their way, the big plays, everything worked out for the Browns to advance. Do you like their chances against KC?
No, I don't like their chances against Kansas City. I think Kansas City is a way better team. I think that even if Kansas City gets down by a few points, they have the firepower to fight back. You're not dealing with a quarterback that's not mobile like a Ben Roethlisberger this year. The Roethlisberger traditionally has been mobile. You're dealing with Patrick Mahomes, who is a guy who can will his team to wins. We saw him do it in the playoffs last year. We saw him win a Super Bowl doing it last year. And I'm not truly convinced that if the running game isn't going well for Cleveland, or if Cleveland is down by 3 or 4 touchdowns, that Baker Mayfield, with his arm alone, can will the Cleveland Browns to a win. I'm just not sure of that. And then without OBJ on the outside to go with Jarvis Landry and some of the weapons on the outside, I'm just not too sure they have the firepower to keep up with Kansas City. Would you say?
What about magic? Doesn't it just feel like they were destined to do it this year?
Yeah,
I really feel like that's the thing. I don't think the Chiefs have that this year.
They were destined to get to the playoffs. Okay. Cleveland, they did, and they won a playoff game. Great job, Cleveland. But I think the real football is going to start to be played now.
We haven't seen Mahomes clips in a couple weeks.
I know. Remember Mahomes?
That bleeper is good, man. Oh, my gosh. We haven't seen him in a while. That's going to be tough. But I will say this. Terrible morning for a lot of people in our industry, for a lot of talking heads, for a lot of radio hosts who have built really nice swimming pools and teeing off on Baker Mayfield. And God bless you for doing it. Tough morning for you. I wouldn't want to be your producers or your writers, whoever is putting together your takes for you, because they're going to be rough. It's going to be tough sledding. Baker Mayfield had a night. He had an absolute night. All Baker Mayfield's done since he showed up to Cleveland is break a 1-31 streak that they were on, break the no playoff streak that they were on, break the no playoff win streak that they were on. It's unbelievable. He had a great night. He's not even in the highlights that much because there was the defense and it was the fumbles. He had a moment after the game where he's in the middle of his press conference and said, "Oh, hold on a second." And he took his baseball cap and he turned it around backwards, which is just
So he's dangerous now?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's saying,
That's why they're gonna
I know
lose
who you're talking to. I know who my enemies are. How's your night going? And listen, their chances against the Chiefs, if you would have said, well, they're going to beat Pittsburgh and Heinz Field, I like them in this game, people would call you an idiot. Believe me, I know. People did not believe they had a chance in this game. Pittsburgh terrorizes them. Ben Roethlisberger owns them. They beat the crap out of Pittsburgh. Can they beat Kansas City? Yeah. Of course they can. We'll get into it all week. I just want, for one night, Baker Mayfield, have your night. Talk your bleep, as they say. You've earned every bit of it. And good luck to those radio hosts this morning.
Before I go, no one in sports media anywhere picked the Browns to actually win this game straight up. Forget the spreads and all that. Straight up. Kyle, you picked it on Friday. Why did you think this was going to happen?
I thought there was something positive that was going to come from the Stefanski thing. I really did. Kevin Stefanski set a tone back in March, just said, we're not going to let this thing affect us. This pandemic, we are going to be better than it. And I just thought the whole underdog thing about our coach is out, the lineman's out, it looks terrible on paper. But I think it did something to them psychologically. And I think that they were like a bat out of hell from the get-go. And I don't think Pittsburgh was that good. Now, listen, I picked them. I didn't know they were going to have 28-0. I thought they were going to have 1 point. So don't give me all the credit. I didn't know it was going to go like that.
I ask you because I feel like it's going to be a lot of that this week, too. It's like, well, that was a nice story.
That was fun.
They beat Pittsburgh. How would they ever be able to go into Arrowhead? And I would just say this. They just won a game without their head coach, without their best offensive lineman, without their play caller, and they did it with a special teams coach who at halftime has never had to make adjustments mid-game and say, okay, here's what we're going to do, and they won. Now you get all that back, going to Kansas City, and Baker and Mahomes, they have a little history.
Here we go, Peter.
I've been waiting all morning.
You've been waiting your whole life for this. Your whole life.
My favorite college football game ever was Oklahoma versus Texas Tech way back in 2016. Just look at the stats from Mayfield.
Look at Mahomes' numbers.
And Mahomes.
Read Mahomes' numbers.
Mahomes threw for 734 yards and 5 touchdowns.
On how many attempts?
On 88 pass attempts.
I can't even do that in video games, man.
Mayfield
up there.
had 545 yards, 7 touchdowns, and they win. Now, there's history, too.
Yeah, he did.
Baker started off as a Texas Tech Red Raider, transferred to Oklahoma. Mahomes would come in as a Texas Tech Red Raider. We're going to do it and break it down. I'm trying right now really hard with the producers to get the highlights from that game. I think it adds it costs money to buy these highlights. I'm going to say, if you need I'll do, we'll have a GoFundMe.
It's terrible, Peter. Careful.
Peter, be careful.
I know.
You couldn't even wait till Tuesday to show that full screen. You had to do it Monday morning.
My point is this. Baker's beating Mahomes. Now, of course, Mahomes has beaten Baker in the pros. It was actually a very good game a couple of years ago where Kelsey had a crazy catch in the end zone. But Baker's beating Mahomes. They're not scared. They just beat the Steelers in Heinz Field.
Yeah.
And they're about to go on this road where no one believes in them. I like this.
Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce,
I know.
Le'Veon Bell.
I got to sell the soap, Mike. Yeah. We got 5 days on this show. I got to make this feel. But honestly,
Mike's right, though.
you're right.
They're really good.
And there's no one more aware than me. I just know that Baker's certainly not scared. A lot of these quarterbacks would come in and be like, all right, we did this, we got 1 win, and now next year.
Broke the streak.
We broke the streak.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little something more.
But you don't think the dangerous Baker and having that bravado back now gets him a little bit in trouble? Just a little bit. I like the Baker that's buttoned up, standard answers, you know what I mean? You had your bet in your quarterback room, so you say your little stuff for your movie, whatever, and you keep on and you keep playing. I don't know if I like the big bravado Baker with my chest poked out and I'm dangerous this morning. No, I want you to just be my quarterback. Wow. That's all.
The half backwards thing spoke to people. What was that nonverbal? Explain.
That is
that goes back to the herd.
Colin Cowherd said he doesn't like his quarterback having his hat backwards, so Baker
did it on purpose.
Does it like that. That's Baker.
They go back years.